This website says it's going to take me 10 months to hit 500k. I think that's whack. Let's do it way before that. So subscribe to the channel and help me out. And while you're down there, follow my Twitter and Instagram. Links are down below. Thanks.
Smoking in the backyard, crashing, I can't start. Blunts to the face when I race like it's NASCAR.
Keffals is a transgender live streamer and activist whose entire platform has been built off of her leveraging her status as a professional victim to garner sympathy from her audience. On top of that, she's also painted grossly false narratives in order to manipulate her audience to sending her over $100,000 and lied about where that money was going and what it was being spent on. On top of that, she's self-admitted and bragged on Twitter before about getting minors on HRT and hormone blockers without their parents' knowledge or consent, and is connected with a website that is best known and most famous for literally shipping out bathroom estrogen and hormones targeted to children. Most of you probably already know that information about Keffals, considering I've covered her antics previously on the channel, and she's very infamous online. Everything I just stated and much more has been the catalyst for videos on top of videos made on Keffals covering the insane stuff that she's been involved in. Well, recently some ordinary gamers dropped a video talking about all of these antics in a 90-minute long piece, and Keffals responded to parts of the video utterly embarrassing herself. I mean, this response just makes no freaking sense at all. I mean, what she chooses to respond to and address versus what she doesn't choose to address really speaks, I think, volumes about what she cares about. This person is such a freak bag, it's unbelievable. You know, I grew up in an apartment where there was an empty guest room, and it was my biggest fear that something was lurking in that room that I didn't know about, right? Because no one was sleeping in there. And now I honestly feel like the spirit of Keffals must have been haunting that room growing up, because no way was I so terrified of it for no reason, you know? She must have been there in spirit, haunting me because I was of the ripe age of 12 to get on HRT. So Mudahar drops this video why Keffals is a complete fraud, and before we even talk about the video, the thumbnail itself has caused Mudahar to get backlash and has been its own little controversy on Twitter that I've seen. It's so brain dead. So as you can see in the thumbnail, it's Mudahar. On his left is a drawn caricature of Keffals. Now, context, the person who drew this has drawn dozens of other YouTubers in this same creepy art style. The person on Twitter who drew this goes by Just a Worm, and he's done this dozens of times. It's his whole thing, and a lot of YouTubers have used these caricatures made by Just a Worm in their thumbnails. Turkey Tom recently used one of Quackity in his thumbnail, and funny enough, Keffals herself used a caricature of Vosh in one of her thumbnails when talking about all that Vosh drama that took place. So for her to turn around and complain about this caricature as she did is ridiculous. Well, what did she say? What did she complain about? Well, let's read the tweet. I understand people have criticisms of me. I don't think I'm above being critiqued. That said, was it really necessary to use a transphobic oh my fucking god, a transphobic caricature of me in the thumbnail while also not using my pronouns in the video announcement? Okay, this transphobic caricature is not even transphobic. Like, what does that even, I just don't even know what that means. Transphobic, transphobia meaning like it's against trans people. It's literally a drawing of you, but made to look very unhealthy and pale and disheveled. That's not, it's not transphobic. It's just making you look odd. I don't understand. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean? Is being drawn in a not flattering way transphobic? So if I got drawn in an unflattering way, would that be transphobic against me? That makes no sense. I'm very bothered by the fact that you can call someone ugly if they're ugly, but if they're ugly and then they call themselves non-binary or trans, then you can't call them ugly because it's presumed the reason you're calling them ugly is not because they're actually ugly and physically unaesthetic. It's just that they're trans. It must be because they're trans you're calling them ugly. Like, no. You're just, like, dysgenic. Like, you don't look appealing. It's also not like the dude who drew this picture just did this from memory and accidentally turned out too masculine for your liking. He obviously used some kind of reference picture. You're a live streamer. There are thousands of pictures of you on the internet to reference. Besides, like, the wrinkles and the pale skin and, like, you know, the extra details to make you look unhealthy and malnourished, yeah, that base image is what you look like. And I responded to this on Twitter by saying transphobia is when funny drawing, and it got, like, almost 1,000 likes because people are tired of everything being called transphobic, especially when it seems to be the first thing you want to address when responding to a 90-minute video basically calling you like a predator against children. You're like, well, okay, we'll get to that, but first things first, this is transphobic. Like, are you serious? Like, I feel like that just is such a telling thing. In the tweet itself that she's responding to, he literally says, over an hour of deconstructing her various lies and examining her terrible lives will prove to you why she's a danger to people they represent and those surrounding them. She's like, like, yeah, I'm not gonna respond to me being called a dangerous person to children and anyone who surrounds me, but I will be very upset that I got called they, them, and a picture of me was drawn unflatteringly. Which brings me to her second complaint, which was that her pronouns weren't used in the video announcements. Dude, he said they, them, and I know people are gonna comment on this video being like, bro, you're saying she, you're saying her, and like, okay, just hear me out on this. I would rather, if someone like Keffals were to see this video, I feel like if she saw it, she would be able to completely dismiss everything I'm saying if I didn't use she, her, being like, oh, this video is transphobic, let's not even watch it, and then her audience would be like, oh yeah, facts, let's not even watch that. Whereas if I'm using she and her to address her, and I'm driving home certain points about like her predatory behavior and her horrible practices, then I feel like she's more inclined to listen and like actually address these things. Or people who might agree with her on certain things would actually listen to this video with maybe a more open mind, which would be good. But anyway, so yeah, she's complaining about Mudahar saying they, them, when she herself has literally gone onto Twitter and being like, oh, by the way, if you want to know what pronouns I use, she, her is good and they, them is good. So he's literally using your fucking preferred pronouns. What are you saying? But I can't get over that caricature thing. I mean, Just a Worm tweeted himself back in February, I was just informed that Keffals is now using my sweaty Vosh art in Keffals live thumbnails. This shows that it is truly over between Vosh and Keffals. This art was commissioned by known Vosh detractor at Willie Mac Show. You are seeing real politic of the highest order. So Keffals can use the ugly caricatures of other YouTubers, but when someone does it of her, it's transphobic? What kind of double standard is that? Like, literally, you can draw other people looking ugly, but you can't draw me looking ugly because I am trans? Actually unbelievable. You have the smelliest, poopiest diaper if you can't handle this shit. It's so tiresome too, because like, now we're forced to meet her at this level of the discourse, where we're not even able to talk about the actual crimes and shit she's done, but we're forced to be like, hey, actually, for the record, this drawing isn't transphobic, and for the record, calling you they, them on Twitter isn't transphobic. It almost seems like a diversion tactic, where we're talking about things that she wants us to be talking about that are so stupid and obviously not true, rather than the things that would genuinely incriminate her. So what we're not going to do is spend this whole video talking about that. We're actually going to talk about the crimes and stuff that she's committed, because I think that's important. There are so many great videos on this topic that you can watch that are going to have way more details than I'm going to be able to provide in this video, and I would recommend you go watch those. Willie Mac Show has some great videos on this. You can go watch the recent Mudahar video, or really anything else on this topic. Some of her biggest hits include the $100,000 GoFundMe scam, the HRT directory funding. Actually, wait, I'm going to be a totally lazy YouTuber here and just play some of the highlights from my stream reaction to a video about all this. I'm sorry, bro. I gotta go.
Chloe has gone on record saying she makes her own estrogen in a bathtub and takes it for herself.
So Bob posting is Chloe? Why is your name Bob? Who is posting it? It should be Chloe posting.
Calling it bathtub estrogen.
Good to see you, Mr. President. Good to see you, too.
She has also stated on multiple occasions supplying minors with the same bathtub estrogen behind their parents' backs. At one point, even hinting at doing it with another person, who a month later ended up.
Yo. I can't do that stuff that isn't prescription because I can't buy anything without my parents' consent. I mean, only if they find out. Go the fuck to jail!
She's even gone on record giving tips on how to make it yourself and stating how she makes $400 a month from donations showing people how to buy DIY HRT, clarifying that it was just showing them how to buy it. Interestingly enough, these two—
it's how to make the chemicals that ruin your entire chance of like having the same gender composition chemically that you would have normally through puberty. It's just where to buy it. Like Yelp. It's like Yelp. It's like TripAdvisor. Good estrogen near me. Hey Siri, where's the nearest estrogen clinic? I'm 14, by the way. Oh, I'm just knowing where to get it. Not how to make it. We're not pedophiles over here. I'm not gonna make it. Really, gamer.
Tweets have been deleted from her Twitter page, and as far as I can tell, she nuked all tweets prior to January 21st, 2022, so who knows what went on there. Keffals is close friends with Chloe, as she has tweeted out about an intimate experience between the two of them back in
thinking about that time when it was, yo, I'm gonna throw up.
August 2021, and so would take
spindle.
offense to what
Detective.
Destiny said to her for doing what she believes is a noble—
Need DIY? Yo, DIY? Yo, bro. Remember when it was like DIY, like Rainbow Loom, DIY fidget spinners? How to make your own fidget spinners from home. You can't afford the $30, you know, titanium fidget spinner? Here's how you can make them by yourself. Here's how you can make your own Rainbow Loom. And now it's like, here's how you can DIY chemically castrate yourself, bro. You guys see the smile on my face? I'm so happy, bro. I love this. I love this like paradigm we're living in. It's so great and progressive, and there's no issues with anything, and everything is great, and everyone is singing in harmony. It's great. We're all having a great time here, right? Unfucking real, bro.
Noble cause, which is give minors access to hormones easier. Keffels herself has made posts on how she has helped get minors on HRT, going into detail on how she would.
Yeah, this is it. I've assisted at least a dozen minors get on hormone replacement therapy, cope and save. Yeah, I'm gonna usurp power from the Canadian government, and my first order in office will have you escorted in handcuffs into a solitary confinement center. No phone, no Twitter, just you alone with your thoughts and regrets.
Would do it through a youth group she helped run, and has gone on record stating she will transgender your children.
Yeah, that's getting tweeted. That is getting tweeted right now, actually. Matter of fact, everybody go like this tweet. This evidence needs to be seen by the world, bro. Everybody like this tweet. On God, bro. Like this tweet. We gotta get Keffels arrested. That's my operation right now, is arrest Keffels.
And has gone on record stating she will transgender your children and won't let anybody stop.
And motherfuckers be like, yo, anyone calling us groomers is like fear-mongering. And it's like, well, then why did you say this? Why did you literally say that I'm gonna groom people? I don't care if you call me a groomer. I'll fucking groom you. I'm not afraid of being called a groomer because I am one.
On August 9th, Keffels will post a video to YouTube unlike anything she's made thus far. She had been swatted on the 7th by people using her docs, pretending to be her and sending emails to every London, Ontario City Council member, threatening to shoot people after killing her own mother. Notably,
what did I just hear, bro? What was that sentence, G?
She had been swatted on the 7th by people using her docs, pretending to be her and sending emails to every London, Ontario City Council member, threatening to shoot people after killing her own mother.
That's
notably
morbid.
claiming how she woke up to the police force with a rifle in her face.
Jeez.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London Police Services, pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home.
Whoa! Oh yeah. It was confirmed she lied about this too, right? That she had an assault rifle pointed into her face when she woke up. It's like, this is how I imagine it went. It's like, whoa, there's a gun in my face. And then I think she was like workshopping this, like on Twitter. It was like, well, I didn't say an assault rifle in my face. It was more of just a dox. Just in general, I was swatted, and it wasn't like not specifically a gun in my face. And I believe she used this to fund money, like do a GoFundMe, and then also the Drop Kiwi Farms thing.
And referred to her as her son when speaking to her mother.
During the arrest, the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son.
She talks about her arrest and how the police seized all the—
Wait, I'm sorry. Does anyone in chat care about that, like, at all? Does that matter? Why even bring that up? That makes... I had an assault rifle pointed in my face. I saw death in the face. Oh, also, they referred to me as my mother's son. More worried about the dead... Well, not more worried, but, like, bringing up the dead name in the same sentence of, like, almost being dead with, like, the gun in the face. Like, one of those is significantly more important than the other.
Their electronics, and how because of this, they were now unemployed, and she had to spend thousands of dollars to replace the
What is this?
items.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones, so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us.
She would place a lot of blame on the police for their actions, saying things like how since they have their fiance's computer they can't work on their PhD studies, and how they are traumatized with how they were treated, and announces she'd be opening up a GoFundMe to move, recoup losses, and build a legal fund.
I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights.
She would talk about any journalists wanting to speak to her, and ends things off again reiterating that she thought she was gonna die after seeing the gun pointed at her.
When I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die.
The goal of the GoFundMe was—
Yeah, so this... Damn, $12,000, bro. Low-key the move. Quick little finesse. That's what we call a devious lick right here. This is called hitting the most gigantic lick known of mankind, okay? And prior to this, keep in mind, on record, grooming children. So it's like, I'm gonna have my career and reputation be that this person who gets minors on HRT, etc. And then my docs gets posted, and people obviously know that I'm like a disgusting person. So they do something that should not be done, of course, the swatting and the fake threats an impersonation, totally indefensible. But, you know, and then it's like, oh, my life was ruined, and then she apparently fabricates this story, which I hope he gets into, Lanza gets into, but then basically does a $20,000 GoFundMe to move to a different country, or just move, get a new house, move all her stuff, and get new stuff, and just got 12,000 Canadian, bro. That's what we call a devious lick. This is finessery 101 right here. Quick little hustle. I need your help because I can't do this alone. I started a GoFundMe after being victimized by London Police Services. This is London, I think, in Canada, right? London Police Services for being the victim of a hate crime. What? So the police committed the hate crime? Interesting. I need to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build legal fund to protect my rights. I've been subject to emotional damages, financial damages, blatant violations of human rights. This is just yapping. Let's see. Where is this going? All right. Because surely this $12,000 isn't going to be spent on not what she said it would be spent on, right? Right, guys? Who would ever lie on a GoFundMe? Who would ever just use sympathy to gain money and then not do what was said to be promised with this money?
And at the bottom of the page, it specifies that if met, she recouped her losses and could move, and anything after that would be put towards a legal fund. Along with this would be a press kit of the evidence bags having her old last name on it to show that the London police had used it, and a copy of the police warrant to search her home. News sources would talk about this incident, and it would soon spread around Twitter like wildfire as people were supporting her after this swatting attack. In an interview with the local news station, Keffels would exclaim that she went into the hallway and saw the assault rifle, already contradicting herself as she said she woke up to it in her face.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle, on August 5th, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle in my face.
Are we contradicting are we doing a little contradiction right off the bat? Uh-oh.
Keffels would get all her electronics back 3 days after the swatting on August 10th, with people even recording her at one point while moving the stuff back to her place. While this is going on, she's raising the goal of her GoFundMe, going from 20k to 40k to 80k, and so on that same day,
yeah, 53 racks. Can I get a GoFundMe just in general?
she would stream about why she kept raising the goal of it.
74,000? How do you excuse this, bro? All you needed was 20k, and you knew that. Going into it, setting it at 20k is already pushing it, because you want to set it higher than you think it should be, just so you can get more.
And she would say that.
People kept asking me why I'm raising the goal when it hits the goal. And the reason why is because, yes, I'm using these funds to move, but more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses.
But didn't she say that after it hits 20k? At this point, this is just money laundering. So literally, it hits 20k, and then she raises it. She said at 20k, if it breaks 20k, well, I'll use the rest on the legal funds. $75,000 later, is that not good enough? I think $74,000 is enough to move and have a legal fund. This is a hype.
Because I'm not just moving.
Yeah. Right.
I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer, and I'm consulting with 2 more.
Now, not to spoil this, and chat, don't spoil it, but I do remember, this is what I do know. This went up to 100,000, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, just from, I've heard some mumblings, she spent it all on cocaine.
I'm going to get justice for what happened to me. And for every other marginalized person
I believe that's
in this
right.
country who has been victimized.
So, Keffels says she planned on using the money for legal action,
Something
and that's
like that.
part of why she kept raising the goal.
Let's see.
On August 11th, London, Ontario Police Chief Steve Williams will put out a statement saying no dynamic entry happened and that the officers were let in after knocking on the door and presenting themselves. He would also say that at no time under custody was Keffels referred to by her dead name, and the usage of her old last name stems from a previous encounter, as whenever someone comes into police contact, they use that current info and keep using it as they didn't know about her name change until they arrested her recently. This all makes sense, and suddenly people were questioning Keffels
My
for
life is in danger. I need your help.
the inconsistency in the police response, and why she mischaracterized them dead naming her as pure malice rather than the way the records are handled. Keffels would post saying that her legal team advises her not to talk about her legal plans going forward, but that she plans on seeking justice at one point or another, saying how she can't disclose anything yet as this is real life shit and not some online streamer drama. She would say she appreciates all the support she's gotten, and that she finally raised enough money on the GoFundMe to move, and that anything additional would go towards her legal fund. You know, that
Didn't she say... Holy, oh my god. She said that at 20k.
original 80+ thousand that is currently a little over 1,000 because she kept
It's insane to me too. This person is like, this is the greatest thing to ever happen to her, by the way. 100k! 100 100K off a fabricated story, bro. Oh my god, bro. If only I could just do that, bro.